Gross here at AT&T Stadium. We're getting ready for what is probably the biggest NFL game of the season to this point. It's Micah Parsons' return with the Packers down to Dallas, the team that let him go exactly a month ago. People have been talking about this game. It's been circled on the calendar since the season kicked off. We know why, but just can you feel the energy when you walk in today?
You can a little bit, and it's funny. Micah said earlier this week that it's just another game. I call BS on that one. This is the biggest story of the NFL season so far, the Packers acquiring Micah from the Cowboys, and I bet the juices are flowing tonight, and like Mike McCarthy said earlier this week on McAfee, they're going to be doubling him from when he gets off the bus. So the Packers are going to have to find a way to impact Dak Prescott outside Micah Parsons, even though he can still have some influence. But I think the scene of him coming out of that tunnel here in a little bit, we're about an hour till kickoff, is going to be something else. He doesn't think he's going to get booed. I don't know about that. We'll see.
There were even some fans that were just bitter, mostly at Jerry.
I saw a Micah Parsons Cowboys jersey on someone.
There you go. I don't know if they've got the memo yet. Either way, what he brings to the table is obviously, we know exactly what it is. But what he's been able to open up for everybody else, the Packers have the sacks leader in the NFL right now, and he's not named Micah Parsons. It's Rashawn Gary with 4.5 sacks. The ability for him to get double teamed and draw all that attention, how does that help the Packers today against the number 4 offense in the NFL?
Yeah, you have guys like, and Jeff Hafley said this earlier this week, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, who have all gotten off to a great start this year, who get more one-on-ones because Micah Parsons is drawing double teams and triple teams. And those are guys who would normally, if Micah Parsons wasn't here, get those double teams. So Jeff Hafley said earlier this week when we talked to him back in Green Bay, go ahead and double Micah. He'll still impact the game. And, we have the NFL sacks leader getting singled up, and Lucas Van Ness and Devontae Wyatt, whose pressures are up. So that's what we've seen throughout the first couple games. Micah Parsons only has 1.5 sacks, but his impact is felt far beyond the stat sheet for sure.
All right, let's talk inactives for just a moment. 3 big ones, all on the offensive line. Zach Tom and Aaron Banks will not go tonight, as well as Anthony Belton, who filled in at right tackle for Zach Tom last week. What does this do for an already deflated offensive line and that offense?
Well, the good news for the Packers is they're not facing the Browns' defensive line tonight. They're facing a defensive line that has really struggled to sack quarterbacks and get pressure on opposing quarterbacks. I wonder why. Maybe it's because they traded Micah Parsons, but I think you're going to see Darian Kennard start at right tackle, Jordan Morgan at left guard. Obviously, less depth on the offensive line without Belton there to fill in. They were really, really bad last week against a really good Browns defensive line. Packers don't have a chance to really develop anything in the passing game if they don't give Jordan Love time. I don't even think Jordan Love played poorly last week. He just didn't have any time to do anything. And then the cause and effect of that. Is your arm okay? Is your arm getting a little sore?
Yeah, no, we're good.
The cause and effect of that is, if teams don't have to worry about Jordan Love taking shots downfield because he doesn't have time, then they can just stack the box against Josh Jacobs, which is what they've been doing. So the Packers are going to have to figure out a way to break down that Cowboys defense somehow.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs did not get a touchdown last week in Cleveland, broke that streak of, 11 straight games, 10 regular season games with that one playoff game. They will have to go up against an old friend of theirs, though, Kenny Clark. He's talked a lot about how grateful he was for his time in Green Bay, but now it's a new chapter, yes, for Micah, but also for him. What is that defense looking to do with Kenny Clark?
Something better than what they've done the first 3 games of the season. They haven't really been able to stop anybody. They got diced up by Caleb Williams last week. They gave up like 7,000 yards to Russell Wilson. What the Cowboys have to focus on is stopping the run. I think that's where it stops for this Packers team. We saw last year how much they like to establish the run early and often with Jacobs. If they can stop the run and force Jordan Love to take some of those, low percentage shots downfield, then they could keep this game close. And Matt LaFleur said earlier this week, Kenny Clark looks like the Kenny Clark of old, the one that, became one of the best interior D linemen in the NFL over his 9 years in Green Bay. So I think the Packers ultimately win this game. I'm sure we'll get to score predictions, but Kenny Clark, it won't be, because Kenny Clark isn't playing well, I don't think.
Let's talk about a key piece on the offense that has yet to really get going.
Matthew Golden?
Matthew Golden.
Knew it.
How did you know?
Because I've been asked that question 9,000 times this week.
So let's ask it again.
Okay.
What does he need to do to get going, and is this the week that it happens here in primetime?
I don't know if it's anything he needs to do. He's getting open. It's just he needs to be the guy Jordan Love looks at, the guy Jordan Love puts it on. We go back to the Commanders game in week 2. Jordan Love missed him twice on what should have been like 130 yards worth of touchdowns. Last week, he would have had another long one if he had stayed in bounds there. His momentum kind of took him out of bounds, and he didn't think he had as much space away from the safety as he did. This is a kid who we've been raving about him since the start of camp for a reason. He's got all the talent in the world. He's not back home. He's from Houston. We're in Arlington right now, but he's going to have a lot of family and friends in the stands. I'm going to keep saying tonight is going to be the night for his breakout game until it actually happens. Tonight's going to be the night for his breakout game.
There you go. You heard it here first. You've already predicted a Packers win.
Yeah.
Now you have a score prediction. Do you think it's going to be high scoring, low scoring? Tell us the tip.
I forget what I said on the Tundra earlier this week, so my score prediction is probably going to be different. I think it's something like 31-20 Packers, and maybe with a late score by the Cowboys. I just don't see, without CeeDee Lamb, how this Cowboys offense really generates anything explosive. And I think this Packers pass rush can really get to we talk about the Packers offensive line being depleted. The Cowboys offensive line is too, and I think they'll be able to get to Dak and really shut them down.
I do think that a lot of people are underestimating what Dak Prescott is as a quarterback.
Great quarterback.
He is. He's a great quarterback.
Yep.
He's been a great quarterback. I mean, he threw for 400 and something passing yards against the Bears. I mean, he is up there with the elites. Now, has win percentage, a 7-10 win percentage in prime time. He's had success on Sunday night, and so for me, I don't think he will win this game because I think the Packers defense is just that good. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than we might all have been made to believe.
Okay.
So I think we'll go 27-24. I do think the Packers win.
Close.
And I agree, a late touchdown, but then a Packers stop. Maybe it's an onside kick and the Packers recover. Either one. 27-24, Packers get the win. Final thoughts before we get out of here?
I love covering big games. This is what you do it for, games like this. Let's have some fun.
Okay, there it is. Matt Schneidman of The Athletic. I'm Michael Gross. You can watch all the coverage on WLUK on Fox 11 later tonight as well as tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.